Good evening. I'm Rabbi Michael Stanger. I'd like to read you a bedtime story. It's one of my favorites. It's called The Rabbi and the 29 Witches. Once there was a little village where people were neither rich nor poor, good nor bad, wise nor foolish, except for one man who was very wise, the rabbi. In his little village, children went to school, cows gave milk, and grown-ups worked. And there's the little village. The story takes place a very long time ago. It was a very normal village, except that under a nearby hill in a deep, dark cave there lived 29 of the meanest, scariest, ugliest, wickedest witches that ever were. And you can see them there in this little cave. Sinister-looking witches, scary-looking witches. I'd avoid going near them. There they lived and there they stayed, brewing their evil potions and raising their evil bats and buzzards. They practiced zooming around on broomsticks, different types of zooming, and screeching their hideous screeches. They pulled the tails of their cats and bit each other out of sheer nastiness. They turned flowers into poison mushrooms and planted them all around the cave. And there they are. They look really, really mean. Oh, God. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near them. And I'm a rabbi. But once a month, when the moon was full, the witches came out of their cave. They flew to the village and circled above it, shrieking and howling and laughing their horrible laughs. The cats yowled, the dogs yelped, the chickens laid cracked eggs, and the cows gave sour milk. The babies cried, and everyone else had terrible witchy nightmares. But if it was raining on the night of the full moon, the 29 witches did not come out at all. So probably then, they look so scary, you'd pray for rain on a full moon. Now, whenever the moon was full and it was not raining, everyone came home early. They locked their doors and bolted their shutters. Some hid under the bed, others put pillows over their heads to drown out the creepy screeches. People got born, grew up, and died without ever seeing the full moon. Finally, one old grandmother said, "I want to see the full moon before I die. Is that too much to ask?" "Well," said her friend, "considering the witches, it is quite a bit. We will go to the rabbi, and he will know what to do. After all, he is the rabbi." So they did. There's them hiding from the witches, and there they are going to seek counsel from the rabbi. How can they solve this problem? The rabbi thought and thought about the problem. On the day before the next full moon, he reasoned, if there is no full moon, there are no witches, so there is no problem. But if there is a full moon, there are witches, and that is a problem. But if it rains on the night of the full moon, and there are no witches, and there is no problem. "Ah, that's it. I have a splendid idea," he cried, "and I can try it out tomorrow night, if the rain is still falling." The rabbi quickly called the grandmother to his side. "Have 29 of the bravest men in the village come to me tomorrow night. Each one should bring a long white robe and a clay pot with a tight cover on it." And there he is reasoning in the rain just before the full moon. He has an idea. I wonder what it is. On the next night, as the rain was coming down, he said, "We are going to get rid of the 29 witches once and for all. Put your robes carefully in the clay pots. Cover them tightly, for they must stay dry." As brave as the men were, this was rather terrifying, but they trusted him. After all, he was their rabbi. And there they are. He's showing them the robes and the clay pots, and they're going to put the robes in the clay pots so they stay dry in the rain. What's he thinking? In the pouring rain, they set out over the hills to the dark, dangerous witch's cave. Each one carried his pot with his dry white robe in it. By the time they got near the cave, even the bravest one was scared. Some say that the rabbi looked a little worried, too. I'd be worried. There they are marching in the rain with a clay pot over their head. I guess the clay pot acted like an umbrella and kept them dry. They hid under a ledge near the cave. The rabbi whispered, "I will go in first because, after all, I am the rabbi. When I whistle once, put on your robes. When I whistle again, rush in and each of you pick up a witch. Start to dance with her. After that, just listen to me." The rabbi put on his long, dry white robe and his most frightening expression and went into the cave. And there they are. They're hiding behind the cave. And the rabbi has his white robe on that's been dry because it was in the clay pot. And now he's wandering into the cave. "Witches, witches, I'm coming in," he cried. "Who are you?" they screeched. "I'm one of you," he cried. He looked so scary that they said, "You do look like a witch, but how did you stay so dry?" "I walked between the raindrops," he said. "What a trick," they cackled. "Do come in." And there he is. He's fooled them. He's all dry, and they think he must be a warlock. "Why have you come?" the chief witch scowled. "Why not?" answered the rabbi as bravely as he could. "You show me some magic, and then I will show you some magic, and we will all learn something." "Why not?" said the witches. So the rabbi dared them to prepare him a wonderful feast. One witch waved her wand, and bread appeared. Another brought wine out of the air, and another brought fruit. Soon there was a great table filled with plates and goblets, roasts and stews, cakes and cookies, soups and puddings, and every other good thing that there is to eat. See, there they are. Things are materializing from their wands. And they're having this lavish meal, dancing around, cackling, creating food. "So let's eat," said the rabbi, forgetting for a moment that he had come. "Not so fast," said the chief witch. "Now show us some of your tricks." "Ah, yes," said the rabbi slowly. "For my first trick, I will produce 29 handsome young men to dance with you at the banquet." "That is quite a trick," cackled the witch. "No one has asked me to dance in 400 years." The rabbi whistled once and waited a minute. He whistled again, and in rushed the brave men. Each grabbed a witch and started to whirl her around. There's the 29 men. They're all dry, of course, because they wore the robes. And they come in and they grab witches and start dancing with them. I wonder who leads. "And now for my greatest trick of all," cried the rabbi. "I'll teach you to dance between the raindrops. Everyone outside." The men picked up the witches and carried them off into the rain. "You tricked us!" shrieked the witches in hissing, horrible, shrinking shrieks. For the rabbi had figured out that witches must be afraid of the rain, for a very good reason. And so as the men watched in amazement, the witches became smaller and smaller until they completely shrank away into nothing. "It shouldn't happen to our worst enemies," said the men, for it was a sad sight to see. And here they are. They're pushing the women and dancing with them out of the cave and into the rain, and you could see they're shrinking in the raindrops. But a good feast should not go to waste, so someone ran back to tell the people in the village that the witches were gone forever. Everyone came and danced and ate. And then there they are celebrating all that wonderful food, not letting it go to waste. And on the night when the moon was full, all the people in the village, from the oldest grandmother to the youngest baby, came out to look. The cool, soft light turned the rooftops to silver. They all agreed that the full moon was very beautiful. Then they went back to their houses and got into their beds and went to sleep. And nobody had any more nightmares because the witches were gone. And Saturday night, by the way, after Shabbat, will be a full moon as well. If you get the chance and you want to go out and see it, a little sliver of silver in the sky. Don't worry about witches either. Everyone be well. Shabbat Shalom. I hope it's a great week, and stay safe and stay healthy. From your Rabbi, Michael Stanger.